Hi everyone. I was just thinking about how being in the organisation, the Jehovah's Witness organisation, how it affects families. Not only if you're disfellowshipped or disassociated, but when you come into the organisation, if you're in particular the only one that is studying the Bible with the witnesses, and how it causes divisions in the family. I touched upon the fact that when I first started studying, not at the age of 10, that was the first time I had my contact with the witnesses, but subsequently to that, around about the age of 18 or 19, I mentioned that my sister and myself left the family home because we were convinced that what we'd found was the truth, and our parents basically had forbidden us to carry on studying. Now, to have a bit of a background on this, being brought up in an Italian household with very strict Catholic parents, you can appreciate the fact that it wasn't very well received, our involvement with this new religion. My parents were adamant they didn't want us to carry on studying. This caused lots and lots of arguments within the family. And basically it was, well, you live under our roof by our laws, our rules and regulations, and if you don't stop studying with them, you leave. They never expected us to leave. They were basically calling our bluff, thinking that we would never do it. And the way in which we did it was in a very cowardly way, I'd say. We just up and left after one massive argument with my mum one afternoon. We just gathered a few things together and we left. We went to a sister's house. They found us a place to stay temporarily at another family's house, another witness family's house. Basically, we left no note as far as I can remember or anything like that. We just up and went and left our parents to pick up the pieces as to where we'd gone, how we'd gone, abruptly like that, and it caused a massive friction and wedge between us and my parents. We were taken in by the witnesses. They were patting us on the back, saying, well done you know, you're really standing up for Jehovah, you know. They cited certain scriptures about how if you loved your mother and father more than God, you were not worthy of him, or how we now had a new family, that our old family, we had to forget about them, that they couldn't possibly understand the truth, and how this was predicted, this was foreseen, it was foretold, prophesied, whatever, that, you know, Jesus was here to bring enmity between family members and a sword to divide families. So with that in mind, and that as, you know, that's what we were being told, we thought that yes, we were standing up for the truth, we were standing up for what was right, and our parents were wrong. Clearly being a Catholic was wrong, you know, with all the doctrines that were false, the image worship and the whole kit and caboodle. So basically we thought we were doing the right thing. I just really wanted to kind of bring home to people how, if you are studying and you have family members that are not studying, be prepared for that. It will truly push you to the limit, and it will divide your family like never before. So really, not only do the witnesses divide families in terms of disassociation, disfellowshipping, the shunning thing and everything after you decide to leave or you're thrown out, not only in that sense, but leading up to you're getting baptized, you're studying with them, everything seems like it's an us or them. You know, it's my family, I have to choose between my family, and I have to choose between them and Jehovah. Well, no, actually, you're not choosing between your family and Jehovah. You're choosing between your family and a man-made organisation. And they will gloss over it, and they will point you in directions, well, point you in the direction of certain scriptures that seem to back up what they're saying. And when you see these scriptures, you know, you'll think, yeah, no, they're right. They're actually right. I should stand up for what I believe in. I should stand up for Jehovah. This is Satan's way of testing me, and I'm going to prove Satan wrong, and I'm going to stand up for the truth. Don't be tricked into thinking like that, because we did, and because of that, we left home. We have a very big Italian community here in the town that I live in. And leaving home before you actually get married, which was the expectation of my parents for all of us, was a scandal. You don't leave home before you're ready to marry and leave the family home, and you certainly don't leave home when it comes to a big scandal like abandoning your family religion and trading it in for an inferior religion. So the Italian community were up in arms about it. They were going up to my parents. They were basically saying that my parents didn't know how to bring their children up properly, that we'd brought shame onto the family. My mum, she close enough had a nervous breakdown, and it turned out that we ended up going back home only because my dad came and he more or less begged us to go back home because my mum was in such a state. So we agreed to go back home, but I added the condition that if I was going to go back home, I didn't want to be disturbed. I didn't want to be told not to study. I wanted to carry on with my studies, and I wanted to get baptized. And the only reason I was going home was for my mum and her health, really. And my dad reluctantly agreed to me carrying on studying. Like I said before in the last video, my sister, she backtracked. She decided it wasn't for her, and she stopped with the studying. I wish I'd have done that now. I really do, but you know, such is life. You kind of look back in hindsight and think, well, I should have done this, I should have done that. But it's been a learning curve. Out of the whole thing, I would say, in my 15 years as a Jehovah's Witness, if anything good came out of that, most definitely was the fact that I met my husband, and that we had a child together, and that in itself was a good thing, a really, really positive that came out of the whole thing. So I don't know, was it meant to be, not meant to be? Do I believe in fate, not fate? Are we thrown together for some reason? Do we come across certain people in our lives for reasons or not? Or is it just chance? I don't know. But all I know is that had I not become a witness, I would never have met my husband, and I'd never have had the child that I have today. So I don't regret that, and I don't believe in living with regrets. So what's been has been. I've learned from it. I'm a very different person now to the person I was then, and it's helped me grow. So I suppose that's also a positive. But to avoid the whole thing, really, I think that's what I can advise people, to stop them from going through what I went through, the obvious mistakes, the obvious heartache, the obvious stress of living in a situation where your family is torn apart. If I could help someone avoid that, if you're studying now and you find yourself in that situation, please don't carry on. Just step back, think of what you're doing, and hopefully have a change of heart. And if you're looking for something, some kind of spiritual journey or something, whatever it might be, and if you think that they've answered your calling, the witnesses, that they came just in the nick of time, we're going through a really bad time, you feel that they fulfill this spiritual need and hunger in you, it's all an illusion. We all have this need, this wanting to find answers in our lives, to better ourselves, become better people. But I don't think necessarily that is found in religion. I think it's found within just being ourselves and helping our fellow man, and you don't need religion for that. You don't need a God for that. And at least I feel that I don't need that. I think it's something that many times I never used to understand when people used to say to me, oh, but being a religious person, believing in God is a crutch. And I'm not meaning to be disrespectful to anyone that is of a religious heart or who has faith in God, whoever that God may be. Just one moment, I'm being called.